All right. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Amanda, and this is,
I'm Katie. Nice to meet you all.
and we're going to be sharing with you a little bit more about the University of St. Thomas today. If you are not familiar with the state of Minnesota, it is right here in the middle of the United States. Some people maybe know each coast, California or New York, but we are right in the middle. And what's really great about the middle of the United States, we are known for being very friendly. People are very nice and welcoming. We get 4 seasons, a lot of fun activities. It's a really great place to live and study. So, like I said, I am Amanda, and I am the International Admissions Counselor at the University of St. Thomas.
And I'm Katie. I am the Pathways Student Success Coordinator.
Yeah. So we're going to go through today, but just to cover some webinar etiquette first, just make sure you guys are doing great, muting your microphone so we don't hear background noise. If you need to use headphones for some reason, you're already doing it, so you're golden. And then if you want to ask any questions throughout, there's a chat box at the bottom. You can just type a question in, and we will answer it for you either in the moment or at the end, depending on when we know your question will come up in our presentation. And then you also are welcome to ask questions at the end by unmuting yourself. Okay?
All right. Well, as you know, we are located in the Twin Cities. Minnesota is known as one of the friendliest states, as Amanda said. We're part of the Midwest, and the Midwest is very well known for that. We also are known as the land of 10,000 lakes. Of course, because we have so many lakes in Minnesota, and that's one of our defining features here. Twin Cities stands for the 2 cities that are within just a few minutes drive from each other. We have Minneapolis up in the top photo and St. Paul down below. And these 2 cities are divided by the Mississippi River. So we just want to make sure that you know that even though we are not one of the coastal cities, we are still a very vibrant place, and there's a lot of things happening, and you get the benefit of 2 cities in one. So it's just a really great place to work and live and study, and we want to show you some of the opportunities of living here. So as you can see in this next slide, we have the rankings. Now these rankings were assigned to us by various magazines and websites, and you can see the references off to the right in parentheses. And as you can see, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and also the state of Minnesota rank very high for many things. We are #1 safest state in the US. We are ranked #2 for the best state for jobs. We are, Minneapolis, St. Paul is known as the best city for tech jobs, the best city for recent grads, meaning it's, easy for you as a graduate student to find a job here. And you can see there's many other top rankings that you might want to, take a moment to look at later. And we just want to emphasize that we are known for having a very good quality of life. And so it is a great place to come to work and study and play, and we hope that you enjoy it as much as we do. So as you can see, we have some great pictures here. This is one of the famous events in our city. It is the Minnesota State Fair. In the US, we have a lot of these state fairs where people tend to get together at sometime in the summer or the early fall, and you can find lots of great food to eat and fun things to do. And the Minnesota State Fair is one of the 2 biggest state fairs in the country, and it's also very near to our campus. So it's one of the things that you'll get to do right when you arrive. We often take students there. It's known as the Minnesota Get Together, and is a great way to get a dose of Minnesota culture right when you arrive to Minneapolis, St. Paul. We are also very conveniently located as a university. One of the best advantages that we have is that we're so close to everything. So we are located right in the center between the 2 cities. So it's only 10 minutes by car to either Minneapolis on the west side or to St. Paul on the east side. We're also only 10 minutes from an international airport that gets direct flights going to Europe, Asia, etc. So once you arrive in the city, you will just need to take a short car trip. Then you'll be on campus within less than 15 minutes. Also, as you can see on the left-hand side, we have the Mall of America, which is one of the biggest shopping malls in America. It's a great place to go shop for any essential things you need when you arrive.
We'll take you there too when you get here, so don't worry.
This slide here is to show our beautiful 4 seasons that we have. Many people like to ask about the climate, and one of the benefits we have in Minnesota is we get to experience all 4 seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. And as you can see, it's very beautiful in all seasons. So you'll get to experience all the different climates that we have, and we know that it's different for every one of you. Some people love winter, some people don't, but if you come from a country that doesn't typically have winter, just think of this as an interesting life experience that you get to try something new. So you will see a lot of snow like you see in that bottom picture. Speaking of snow, we like to celebrate winter. So it's not just the time to hide inside our houses. We also have lots of fun activities like the St. Paul Winter Carnival. So as you can see, even when the weather is cold, we like to get out and celebrate. So you can see beautiful ice and snow sculptures. We even have an ice castle that you can go inside at the bottom. And there are a lot of other festivities that happen around that time. And if you're not a fan of the cold, I don't enjoy the cold much myself, don't worry, because all of the buildings are very warm. A lot of the buildings in the city and on campus are connected by tunnels or by skyways. And so often, you don't have to go outside as much as you would think. But when you do go outside, as long as you have good winter clothing, you'll be fine. We'll take you to get winter clothes if you need help finding some of that. There are a lot of great brands out there that'll keep you nice and warm in spite of the cold temperatures. We also are located very close to one of the world's biggest freshwater lakes, Lake Superior. It's up in Duluth, Minnesota, and it's only about a 2-hour drive north of us. So hopefully when you're here, you'll get a chance to visit it. It's very beautiful, and a lot of people in Minnesota like to go there to take a little vacation or a day trip. And in this slide, it shows all of the wonderful outdoor activities that we have. We really cherish our outdoor activities all year round, and the culture here is very active. So you can see that people like to go hiking, fishing, bike riding, cross-country skiing. We have a really great park system here, and if you are active, you'll find lots of things to do. And even if you're not used to these, it's a great opportunity to try new activities. Minnesota has 6 major professional sports teams, as you can see here. All of them play their games right here in the Twin Cities, so you'll have a chance to see the games if you want. At the university, we have a desk called Tommy Central, and at Tommy Center, you can buy discount tickets to these games. So you'll get a chance, if you enjoy sports, you'll get a chance to see them play. And if you look off to the bottom right, you can see Lynx. That is our women's basketball team, and that is probably one of the best women's basketball teams in the country. It's won the league championship several times.
And we will also take you to these games for free, whether it's International Student Services or Campus Life. They often take students, they get a bus, and everybody goes together. So you'll definitely have an opportunity to experience that.
If sports aren't your thing, but you enjoy art and theater and culture more, we have a lot of art museums, theaters, things to do here in the city. Up in the top left, you can see the Gold Medal Flower Factory. This is a museum showing the history of the flower industry and how important the Mississippi River was to our culture 100 years ago. In the top right, we have the Minneapolis Institute of Art. This has tons of art that you get to see, and it's all free. In the center, we have the Guthrie Theater. Now, I believe Minneapolis, St. Paul is known as one of the top 3 theater seats per capita in our country. So what that means basically is that we have one of the most number of theaters per our population. So there's lots of great shows you can see. And then in the bottom, you can see we have some, other art museums. The Walker's a modern art museum. And in the bottom right, we have the Science Museum, which is really interesting. And you get to try a lot of hands-on activities when you're there.
Okay, so we've told you a great bunch about how awesome we think Minnesota is, and we're actually located right on the Mississippi River as a campus. So this is the view that I'm actually sitting in front of. So this is our campus. This is the University of St. Thomas, and it is located in St. Paul. And it's right in this really beautiful neighborhood, super safe, but very close to both of the cities that we showed you earlier. And Katie also mentioned tunnels. So if you look here, all of these buildings are connected underground through tunnels. And so that means that if you're cold one day or you just don't feel like going outside because it's raining or something, you can get anywhere you need to go. And that's pretty common in Minnesota and other states near us as well. So some quick facts about the University of St. Thomas. We were founded in 1885, so we're pretty old. We are a private Catholic liberal arts university with very strong STEM programs. So what that means is we are a little bit smaller. Private schools tend to be smaller than public schools in the United States. Not always though, it depends, but in Minnesota that is true. We were founded as a Catholic university. There are students who are Catholic here, but there's also students from all different faiths. And what's really great about St. Thomas is we have a lot of different support systems in place for students from all different faiths or no faith at all. Everybody is welcome, and there's something for everybody on campus, which I personally really appreciate. I think that's part of our mission and our values as a university. And then we are the largest private university in Minnesota. So Minnesota is really cool. The Twin Cities actually has the second highest concentration of colleges and universities in the United States. So what that means is that if you come here, you're surrounded by other colleges and college-age students. So it's a really good community that you'd be joining, a lot of young people, a lot of international students. But what's great about that is we are still a small school. That means you'll go into your classroom, it'll be about 20 students normally, and that means your professor is going to know your name. You're going to know all the students around you. When you see people on campus, they're going to know who you are. And what we find is that that personalized attention really leads to success for students. They really feel like this is their school, their home, and they're able to take on different opportunities that maybe students that go to a big school where maybe not everybody knows who they are, don't really have that opportunity. So I'll talk about that more as we go on, but we're about 10,000 students overall, 6,000 undergraduate students, 4,000 graduate students. So 6,000, you'll definitely know people, but you also can meet new people every day, which is why it's a good size. We have over 550 international students from 71 countries. So it's about 6% of our population is international. And we have maybe one from a country or maybe 100 or more from a country. So depending on where you're from, you'd meet people from your home country, but also countries around the world. And the other great thing about St. Thomas is that when you do meet your professor, they will always be a professor. You will never have a class with a student teacher or like a graduate student. That's very common at larger universities in the United States. And that is, we don't believe in that here. We want you to have the full opportunity to be taught by a professional and an expert. So like I said, we are located on the Mississippi River. So this is Minneapolis right here. So you can see it's not far. This is all residential neighborhoods in here. A lot of cool activities throughout here too. We also have a free purple shuttle bus that picks up right in front of our student union and takes you to downtown Minneapolis every 20 minutes. So you get that as a part of being a student for free, and I'll show you more what that looks like. This is us in the winter. It's very beautiful. We love decorating, and students who maybe have not experienced winter before, they have to tell us, because then when it first snows, we have to know. We have to go experience it with them, and we do find that even if students haven't experienced winter before, they do really well. They enjoy it. So this is our student center. This is where our offices are located for international student services and international admissions, but also every office on campus is in 2 different buildings to help you. And a lot of them are in this building, as well as your campus dining, different activities. That desk where you can get tickets and activity, things to rent is here that Katie talked about. And what's important about a student center or a student union in the United States, outside the classroom learning is really important, just like it is for you to go to class and learn from your professors and other students. Being involved outside the classroom is really important to your success and your growth. And so a lot of that learning does happen in a student center or a student union, whether it's a club meeting or you're working with a staff member or you're meeting with one of your professors. This is a big part of student life in the United States, and ours is pretty nice. It's ranked top 10. We also have really nice athletic facilities that are included in your student fees, so it feels free to you. And this was just built in 2011. We also have a library, very beautiful, looks very cool, kind of like Harry Potter in my opinion, which I appreciate. And then we are ranked number 38 for our engineering programs. So our Engineering and Science Center is really nice, high-tech, nice facility. We actually just opened a center for microgrid research with the CEO of Xcel Energy here in the Twin Cities. So if you're looking for hands-on opportunities, you're definitely going to find them at St. Thomas. So this is our Minneapolis campus, and this is mostly for graduate students in education, business, and law. You may have a class down here occasionally, but probably not likely depending on your major. But what's great about this campus is this is where that purple shuttle bus drops you off, right over here. And so this is the center of downtown. So you can walk down this street right here, and this is where a bunch of the theaters are, restaurants, fun things to do, sports games. The headquarters for Target is right behind this building. And then a bunch of different headquarters of international companies are right down here as well. So maybe if you have an internship or something, you have easy transportation downtown. Also, all of the buildings in both of the cities are connected by skyways. So Katie mentioned before, you can walk from building to building without going outside in the winter. And it's really fun. Everybody's in there and saying hi to each other. It's really nice. All right, so you may recognize some of these companies. Usually people will know 3M or Medtronic or Target or Best Buy. So all of these companies, what they have in common is their international headquarters are in the Twin Cities. So they are about 10 or 20 minutes drive from our campus, all of them. And that way, these are the companies that are going to be coming to campus to come recruit you to work for them, maybe part-time. Maybe you want to explore what that looks like after you graduate, that work opportunity. And what we're really proud of is that 94% of our students, when they graduate, are either employed, working, or go to graduate school within 6 months of graduation. I'm going to be honest with you. I went to St. Thomas as a master's student for graduate school. I went there, never been there before, not from Minnesota. And I saw this statistic. In my program, it was actually 96%. And that is one of the reasons I went to St. Thomas, because I wanted to make sure that I got a really high quality education that would lead to me having a successful career. And it worked. I'm here. I have a job at St. Thomas now. It's super great. And so I really do believe that the personalized attention that we provide does allow for students to have really good work experiences and opportunities once they're graduating or even while they're studying. Because you can see over half of our students do internships before they graduate, and you will also have that opportunity. And then all of these big companies are the ones that will come to campus. Our Career Development Center is phenomenal, and they will have career fairs, reverse career fairs for you, where you stand at the table and the companies come around looking for you, and you get to kind of showcase who you are. That happens as well, especially in our engineering department. But all of these opportunities are available to you at no cost. Career Development Center is part of your student fees, so it's free to you. So this is a cool map, and what it does is it shows the best colleges in every state. And so if you look in the state of Minnesota, we are number 1. And like I said, there are a lot of different colleges and universities near us. And so to us, this is really exciting because it shows that that personal attention, it works. It works for students to get jobs and be highly employed and sought after once they graduate.
All right, the next set of slides is to show you a little bit more about campus life. Now, campus life in the US is more than just going to class. It's really important what you learn in the classroom, but also what you learn outside the classroom is also important. So we're going to talk a little bit about the opportunities that you have on campus to get involved. The first one here is March Through the Arches. When you arrive, right after orientation, we have a big ceremony to welcome the new freshman class, and you will get the opportunity of leading the entire new first-year class into the campus through those arches in the bottom right. It's kind of a ceremony indicating that you are starting your journey at St. Thomas, and then at the end, after you graduate, you will march back out through those arches as a celebration of finishing the program. You'll also get to carry your flag, as you can see in those pictures, and with that flag and other people from your country and other international students, you will lead the entire 1,000-person group into campus, and everyone will stand around and clap for you, and it's a great way, just to show off your country and to show off that, you are part of the new prospective class. We also have a great program called Friendship Families. Now, this is not a host family. You don't live with them, but it is kind of like an adopted family or like a family friend that you have here in the Twin Cities. And if you sign up for this program, you get to, build connection with this family, have family dinners together. They're kind of like a way for you to have a home away from home. So you can go shopping with them, go to sports games, hang out. And it's a great way to see, what American culture is like from the family perspective, and also just to, get a chance to have some people in the area who are looking out for you and want your best. So students who typically sign up have a really good experience, and you'll get the chance to do so right after you arrive. Also, if you don't want to commit to regular things, but you just want to have a chance to celebrate one of our most popular holidays, Thanksgiving, we also do a friendship family just for Thanksgiving. So you can join one of these families to eat the traditional Thanksgiving dinner, as you can see in the bottom right. Now, in the spring semester, so your second semester, we have a lot of cultural dinners. We love to celebrate the different cultures on campus. And one of our favorite events that we have is the international dinner. So this is our chance to really, celebrate and enjoy the various cultures that we have on campus. We have a lot of cultural dances, performances that happen, delicious food. Everyone likes to bring their family and friends to join, and it's all free. So it's a really great chance to get free food and to experience other cultures on campus. And a lot of the other cultural dinners that we have that are more specific are also free as well. Here you can see some pictures of what on-campus housing looks like. 96% of our students live on campus their first year, and the majority of international students do so as well. And as a pathway student, you will also get that experience your first year. It really just helps with the transition to campus. If you're living on campus, it also, makes it easier to connect with other people. And there are a lot of different options. So you could live in the traditional dorm. If you look in the top left corner, this is an example of the traditional dorm, in that you would have one other person in your room. And when you're older, you can live in an apartment style housing, which is in the top right. In that apartment style, you would have your own bedroom, and you would share a bathroom with only one other person, and then you have this communal living room kitchen space. So if you like cooking, that's a good option. We also are building 2 new residence halls this year, and so if you opt for those, you might get lucky and get to live in one of our brand new buildings, all fresh. A very important part of student life here is club activities. We have over 140 different clubs, and also the opportunity for you to create your own club if there's not something there that fits your fancy. There are literally clubs about everything, ranging from sports to cultural clubs, different hobbies, academic clubs. And we have an activity fair right away after you join us on campus 2 weeks after classes start. the activity fair is a chance for you to see all the different clubs that are on campus and sign up to get more information about them. Those that you sign up for just means that you're interested, and they'll start sending you information so you can know when they meet. So we always recommend that students try a lot of different clubs to find the one that fits right for them. And one of the really cool things about some of the special interests in the academic clubs that we have is they like to bring in guest speakers to campus to present. And sometimes we have some really cool, famous people, CEOs of companies and other individuals. So this is a great chance for you to experience that as well. And all of the club meetings, or most of the club meetings, are held during Convo Hour, which is a special hour on Tuesdays and Thursdays around lunchtime. And the nice thing about that hour is that there are no classes held during that time. So the time is devoted for you to join club activities. We also have a lot of opportunities to watch sports. If you like to watch sports teams, cheer on your school. We are hoping to move to Division I very soon, basically what that means is that the competition is going to increase, and we're going to get, some opportunities for our sports teams to be on TV. Things will get a lot more exciting on campus, and as a student, you get the perks of seeing all the games for free. We have a special kind of semester or school session that's held just in January. We like to call it J-term. And during that time, there's a lot of different options that you have. One of those options is to take a trip and study abroad. Now, of course, when you come, you're already studying abroad. But if you want to study abroad in another culture or another country just for a month, you can do so through our school. As you can see, we have a lot of different trips both in the US and abroad. And our school is ranked number 6 in the country for studying abroad. So we have a really great program here if you want to do that. However, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. There are other options. You could just take your own trip and travel around the US to explore the country. You could choose to take a class at St. Thomas for half price during that time. As a pathway student, you would be taking a class during J-term during your pathway year here, but after pathway, you have the choice. If you don't even want to take a class, you can just take that month as a break, or you could go home. So there's a lot of good options in January, and you can kind of explore whatever you want and make your own schedule after you're out of the pathway program. This also applies for summer term as well. There are some study abroad trips in the summer that you have an opportunity to take, or you could take summer classes, travel to the US, same thing. In addition, during J-term and summer, you could choose to work full-time on campus. Now, during the school year, during fall and spring semester, you can only work up to 20 hours per week. But this is still great to be able to work part-time, because that means that right away, if you want to get a little extra spending money, you can find a job on campus and get $10 an hour to put towards either book purchases or going out to eat, whatever you want. And you can do this your first year right when you arrive. It could happen as early as the second week of class. So a lot of students choose to work on campus. It's also a really good experience for you to see what it is like working in a different workplace culture, different environment. And it's a great way for you to get to know people on campus and to learn some leadership and job skills as well.
Okay. So we're going to move into conversations about academics. You can't read all of it probably, it's a lot, but what it is showing you is that you have over 150 different majors and minors to choose from. And students are allowed to take a double major, and as long as they plan correctly, it shouldn't cost them anything extra in the long term, because we don't charge you based on each credit anymore. We only charge you based on your tuition for the semester. So that means that if you want to take additional courses, they don't cost you anything extra, which is really nice for students who want to explore what maybe a major and a minor or 2 majors looks like for them as they move throughout their 4 years. That probably you wouldn't have to decide that until like year 2 So you're okay to explore kind of that first year, especially if you're in the pathway program, because your curriculum's already set for you, because we register you guys and you have the classes that you need to take to get the credit to graduate. So the pathway program, and this is a unique program that we've created with ELS. And so what it means is that you come in as a first year student right here. You are the exact same standing as everybody in the school. You are all first year students. You do your classes, you get full amount of credits your first year, and as long as you have a 2.0 GPA, so you're in good academic standing, you are allowed to progress to year 2. And in the first year, we provide you a lot of extra support and assistance that Katie's going to talk about. That's Katie's job. And so as long as you guys move on to year 2, you will not be considered in the pathway program anymore after year 1. Year 1's designed to support your transition and your experience in your first year of college. Year 2, you're great. You go into classes with everybody else. And so we'll explain what that looks like more. So the pathway program is really designed for our students who maybe need a little bit of extra English support, because we do require students to go to pathway if they have a certain level of English proficiency test or GPA. And so if you're looking here, the GPA minimum is 2.5. The TOEFL score minimum is 60. IELTS is 5.5. Maybe you want to come to the States and take English classes at ELS language centers first. We have one on campus. It's great. You would have to complete level 109 and have a GPA of 2.25. Oh, I know the whole world is kind of in a crazy place right now with coronavirus. So Duolingo is a really good option if you cannot go find a testing center or something's going on. It's fairly inexpensive and you can do it from your computer at home. So if you are going to do that or have done that, we look for an 85 minimum score for pathway. And what this means is you take your classes. Katie's going to go over the curriculum in a minute. And then we provide you those supports, and then you still graduate in 4 years. So this first year program, you get all this extra stuff, and it's the same program, but you get extra support.
All right, I will be talking about the curriculum, but I just want to pause a moment to remind you that if you do have any questions, you're welcome to type them into the Zoom chat box, and we're happy to answer them either immediately or at the end of the presentation. And I also just want to say welcome to Anastasia, who just joined us recently. So here is our pathway curriculum for year 1. As you can see, it's broken up into 3 sessions. We have semester 1, middle semester, which for you all would mean J-term, and semester 2. So once you finish this whole year, you're going to complete all of these classes and have a total of 33 credits, which means you are eligible for second year or sophomore standing. If you look closely at these classes, you can see that there are a number of classes that are listed English for academic purposes. The goal of these classes are to get you up to speed on your language skills so that you can be successful as you continue with your college classes. These classes will focus on your listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills in an academic setting. So you'll get a lot of experience with how to write different types of essays, different types of papers and assignments that you have. You'll also get to talk about the different cultural differences with the American educational system, what it means to speak in class, how do you have a class conversation, and how to present in front of your classmates. You can also see that you have a number of what we call Gen Ed or general education courses. So these are courses that are required by all undergraduate students to fulfill the requirements of your program. So we have for you Introduction to Theater, Geography, Math or Public Speaking, Theology. Again, these classes are here because all students need to take them, and we wanted to integrate your first year not just with language skills, but also with a chance to start regular college classes to see what it'll be like after you exit the pathway program, after you progress to a sophomore.
The other thing I want to point out is there's a new class that's called First Year Experience, and this is a part of our new curriculum. And this class, students will actually be taking not in the pathway cohort, they're going to be you guys will go take those classes with everybody else, American and other international students. Whereas a lot of the classes, like your English classes, will be with your cohort. So your pathway cohort, exact same classes, all St. Thomas professors teaching you, but this way you guys can learn better as a group. But then you also still will take some classes with the general population of other students at St. Thomas. So you get both.
This is also true in your second semester. Typically, one of the courses there are going to be integrated with other students as well. You can also see that math has a little star or asterisk next to it, and that is dependent on your math placement score when you arrive. So one of the things that you can start doing to prepare for coming to St. Thomas is to start brushing up on your math and preparing for that math test so that you can place into a high enough math class for your program. All right, so the next slide here is to show the various academic resources that we have on campus. Now, as Amanda mentioned, the University of St. Thomas is a private university. And as you know, the cost of attending a private university here in the US is not low. And the reason for that is because we have a lot of resources for you and a lot of additional support to help you be successful while you're here. So everyone from the faculty, the teachers to the staff are working together to help you succeed and to stay on track for your program. If you look on the bottom right, you can see in that purple box, personal attention. That is the University of St. Thomas conviction. So our goal here is to treat every student like an individual and to meet their individual needs and to help them along their journey. So you don't need to be worried about being lost in the crowd or being seen as just a number. We all know you. Everyone at the OISS office will know you, and we will be invested in helping you succeed as you're here. In the top part of this slide, you can see a couple of the different resources we have. Center for Student Achievement. I'll talk more about that in the next slide. We have professor office hours. So these are, all of your teachers will have time for you outside of class so that you can meet with them, talk to them if you have any questions or need any help with your coursework. St. Thomas professors, as we mentioned before, our state in general is known for being friendly, but I personally think that our professors are just incredibly friendly and willing and to help students and very open. The culture here is maybe different than what you're used to in the US. Professors are very open to helping students, and it's a little bit more of a informal relationship where you typically call them by their first name. They are very accessible to you. You're welcome to email or call them with any questions you have. Sometimes some professors might invite you to do some activities as well, or, act as a tutor or friend to you. So we want to encourage you to get to know your professors and to seek them out as you study here, because also they can help you in the future to give you research opportunities or to write letters of recommendation for you. So building a good relationship with your professors is important. And as you can see, we also have many research and internship opportunities as well. So as we go to the next slide, I am also one of the resources that you have here as the Pathway Student Success Manager or Coordinator. I act as a student advisor for all Pathway students. So we would meet regularly to discuss your progress in the program, your goals, your experience in general at St. Thomas. And I kind of act as like your first point of contact from the time you are admitted to the program, through to when you graduate from the Pathway program and become a fully fledged second-year student. So we do meetings both as cohort, as a group, and also one-on-one regularly, just to stay in touch and to see how everything's going. And I also am available to help connect you to various university resources and departments as needed. One of those resources that we have, one of those departments, is the Center for Student Achievement. So I think we're missing a little word there on our slide, but the Center for Student Achievement is available for academic counseling, career development, various research opportunities, study abroad, information technology. So if you're having any trouble with your computer, they can help you. We also have lots of different tutoring services, whether you need help with writing or math or academic tutors, English language tutors, and more. So one of those things that I want to show you though with that academic counseling is, so these counselors are there for you from your very first year to help you get good advice on the classes that you will study. Now, as you saw in our previous slide, we have chosen your first year of classes for you, but after you finish the Pathway program, you will be choosing your own classes. And you might, there we go.
It was hiding.
It was hiding. So the part of choosing your classes is being informed about your program and your course of studies. And so within academic counseling, we have 2 counselors who are very experienced working with international students. In fact, one of them used to be an international student herself. And so they are there to help you choose your classes after Pathway, to help you understand the requirements of your program, to plan out your 4 years. And then also, if you haven't decided yet on your major, it's totally fine. A lot of students are undecided in their first year of college. And so they can also help you explore different options for what major you might want to choose or any minors you might want to add. So they will be a great resource for you within, even starting in your first year, just to get an idea of your program. Now, after your first year, after Pathway, you will be assigned a faculty advisor based on the major that you declare. And that faculty advisor will be one of the instructors in the department that you're majoring in. And that professor will be the one helping you select classes and stay on track. So that's a great resource. And I just want to say a little bit more just about the tutoring as well, because within that we have a specific English language tutor who is there specifically for the Pathway students to help you as you read your textbooks, if you have any questions about readings, if you need help revising a paper, or if you want to practice general English skills, whether it's I noticed that my listening skills are weak and I'd like to improve that. This tutor is there for you to help you. And you'll get to know them quite well, and they'll be a resource for you during your first year. All right, and I believe Amanda's going to talk about the Center for Career Development to tell you a little bit more about that.
So for career development, Katie talked about previously, there's internships or research opportunities, but specifically if you're looking for an internship or a part-time job, you are allowed to work off campus your second year. You cannot work off campus your first year. It's a US governmental rule. But what that is, it's called CPT, Curricular Practical Training, and that means that as long as it relates to what you're studying, you can work off campus. You obviously would talk to the International Student Services Office about that to make sure you're following all the rules, and that's what we're here for, to support you the whole time. But when you're looking for an internship, you obviously talk to International Student Services to make sure you're following rules, but you're going to use the Career Development Center for that guidance. So like I said earlier, they have a lot of different job fairs throughout the year on campus. There's also larger job fairs for maybe a specific major or area of study. And then there's some that are companies that go to all the private schools in Minnesota, or it's about a specific type of job that you're looking for. So this resource for you is huge, because maybe what's normal or accepted as a professional resume in your home country is different in the United States, and you're going to want some help trying to figure out what the best resume can look like for you here for that internship. Or maybe the way that you conduct an interview is different. There's a lot of different little pieces of cultural norms when you're looking at jobs or moving into a professional setting that we can help you with. And so this is all free to you. And if you walk into their office and you're like, help, I don't know where to start, they'll completely take over and help you with that process the whole way. What's great too is they're here for you your 4 years at St. Thomas, but actually you're able to use their services for the rest of your life. So maybe if you later on down the road need some help with something, they're here for you. And also they're connected to our alumni network. We have over 105,000 St. Thomas alumni network in our network. So that network is very, very strong, especially if you're looking for a job in Minnesota while you're studying or maybe after you graduate. St. Thomas is a very known school in Minnesota. And so that network and that name carries a lot of weight here. And so that can help you when you're looking, oh, you went to St. Thomas too? Oh, okay. And automatically you'll have an understanding between each other. And then if you look at research opportunities, this we highly, highly recommend taking advantage of, because at smaller schools, you undergraduate students are the ones who can take advantage of these opportunities. Sometimes at big schools, it's for graduate students mostly. Professors will focus on the graduate student research, but at St. Thomas, we want to focus on undergraduate student research. So we have international students who got research grants and work an individual new research with the professors their first, second year of college. Maybe you work with your professor and they put your name on a paper because you helped do the research for it. These are opportunities you cannot get at bigger schools usually. And these are opportunities that'll set you apart and help you grow as a student. Also, you can get paid to do it, which is pretty cool. A lot of students will do a paid research or a lab assistant job with a professor, and that way they get to enhance their studies, but they're also making money while they're doing it. And those jobs are on-campus jobs. So you can do those, you can look for them starting your first year, no problem. This photo here is actually our boss, who is originally a biology professor, doing original research on turtles with a student. So like, this is what you see. Your professor, who has a PhD, will be out in the field with you, doing the work with you, which is what makes St. Thomas different. So in terms of your next steps, so everybody is at kind of different places right now. What you need to do is obviously, once you're admitted, and we have a financial statement, which Pathway usually students do have those financial statements already turned in. We will send you your I-20, your admission letter, and a document that talks about the visa process. You need this information in order to set up your visa appointment. Now, I understand that right now with coronavirus, things are a little uncertain in terms of embassies and consulates being closed. And when they do open, there will be a big line, I think. And maybe that will set back your date. Maybe that will cause you some delays. We will work with you to try to figure it out. As a Pathway student, you all have a lot of different resources to help you through your admissions process on the ELS team as well, who handles your application process. But we will help you. Just keep us notified about what's going on. We are following the news closely to see when things open back up. And just tell us, you know, hey, this visa's not open, or this visa appointment isn't going to be available for me, or I have a test delay because I can't go take that test I need because it's not open, or an exam I had to take is not happening. Just tell us, and we'll help you try to figure out what the best course is for you, okay? The whole world's in a weird place right now, and you are not alone in it, so just please communicate with us. In order to say, yes, I'm coming to St. Thomas, hold my spot, you have to confirm. So confirming is a $400 deposit. And when you get your admission letter, there's a link and there's a bunch of next steps for you. And you can always reach out to any of us to help you figure out kind of what does that look like? How do I pay that deposit? What I do want to tell you is if you cannot get a visa interview until November, you can come in the spring semester. That's totally okay. You would come at the end of January then instead of the end of August. While it's not ideal, it's still an option you have with the way things are kind of going in quite a few countries right now. And then if you are denied, we do refunds. So you don't have to worry that you're not going to see this money again. We will work with you. So don't worry about that. And we'll talk a little bit more about that visa process in a minute. The other thing I want to highly encourage you to do, and this to me says a lot about a university, if you can talk to a current student. So I think at any school you look at, you should ask, can I talk to a current student? You should be able to do that because the people you're talking to should know their students, and they should have students who are excited to share that experience with you. These are our international student ambassadors right here. They're awesome. We have 11 of them currently who volunteer to put a lot of time and energy into working with students like you. We call prospective students twice a year while they're kind of getting their application ready. We also will email you. You can talk to us on social media. And then when you come and you arrive, these students will be here. So you walk in with a friend already. So please reach out to me if you would like to connect with a current student. I will do my best to find a student that maybe has a similar interest to you, or a major, or is from the same home country, or speaks the same language. If not, all of them are fantastic resources, and all they want to do is make you feel comfortable through this transition. So I told you we'd talk a little bit more about your visa appointment. This is a very text-heavy slide, so I'm not going to read it to you. It's pretty much just the basic information that you absolutely have to have. And as you can see here, it is all on St. Thomas's website, so you can use this as a resource. The other thing is that if you choose to come to St. Thomas, we will be sharing all of this information with you, so don't feel like you have to write this down or anything right now. We will also be sharing this presentation for those of you that attended today and anybody else who asks in the future. If you want the presentation, you can have all the links. But again, this is just pulled off of our website, and it's about your visa appointment, and to make sure you understand what that looks like, what the steps are, what to remember to bring. There's a lot potentially that you might have to bring. So just make sure you're really well prepared.
All right, so here on the slide as well, a lot of great information about preparing for your visa appointment. This information can be found on the NAFSA website, and we will be, emailing this to you as well as a great resource. The important things that we want to just communicate to you is that if you decide that St. Thomas is the place for you, then know more about the program, know about St. Thomas and how it fits into your career plans. Think about what attending St. Thomas can do for you in the future, and make sure that you can communicate that to the visa officer, as well as tie that back into your home country and how you can use that when you return home. So we'll send this in your pre-arrival information. And as Amanda said before, if for some reason something happens, you aren't able to come for the fall semester, we will work with you to try to help you. A lot of students have experienced issues related to COVID, but we are all here to assist you on this journey and to get you here if we can. Now, if for some reason you don't pass your first try on the visa interview, we just want to encourage you to keep trying. A lot of students do pass on their second or third time. And so don't lose heart if that happens to you, because just with a little preparation, you can surely try again and hopefully make it.
The other thing I want to point out is that some students are nervous because they're like, oh, it's a pathway program. Does that mean I won't get a visa? Actually, the I-20 you get is a St. Thomas I-20. It is just like every other I-20 we give. The only difference is it says you are studying whatever major and English that you declare. That's the only difference. And so as long as you can talk about that program, like Katie said on the slide, be able to talk about why you're going to St. Thomas, why you're choosing the pathway program, but you have the same I-20. So don't worry about that. That's a really big benefit of choosing a pathway program, is getting a university I-20 that does help with your visa interview.
Another next step is choosing your campus housing. So you should see an email in the next couple of months if you have confirmed that you're coming to St. Thomas. And that email will give you information about where to live on campus. And also, you can find a lot of information on our website, including pictures like these. We also recommend talking to a student. So as Amanda mentioned previously, get connected with an international student ambassador, talk to them about what life is like living on campus and where they prefer to spend their time. But if for some reason there are questions that you can't find the answers to on our website, or through our emails or through talking to a student, please contact us and we will help you make the best decision. So make sure that you keep checking your email. That's really the most important thing here, to stay in communication with us, because a lot of important information will be coming to you via email, and we want to make sure that you get all the information you need before you arrive. Now, speaking of when you arrive, here's some important dates about your arrival. You will come here on August 31st. Now, of course, you can come up to 30 days prior to that based on immigration requirements. If you decide that you want to come a little early so you can get acclimated to the time change, or if you just want to have a week or so to explore Minnesota before attending school, that's fine. You can certainly do that, but just know that you cannot move on campus until August 31st. So if you come early, you'll just need to find another place to live. So whether that's with somebody that you know or with a hotel. And that August 31st date is really important. So we hope that all who are attending will show up by then, because then we will start orientation week specifically for international students. And there's a lot of important information. Now, of course, if something happens and you end up coming a day late, that's okay. But if it's within your control, we just encourage you to make sure that you check in by that day. And then that week from August 31st until September 4th, we have a special orientation just for all new international students. You get to come a week early to campus before the rest of the students, just to have a chance to really get over your jet lag, get business done if you need to open a bank account, get a cell phone, and also to give you a chance to meet all the other new international students and really bond with them. You're all from different countries, but you're all in the same boat, coming to a new country, new school. And we have a really great orientation program for you during that whole week, so you're not going to be bored. We'll get you moved in, and then we'll give you a lot of information about the school, but we will also have lots of fun activities that you can do. And then on Friday, on September 4th, I believe, is Friday, you will see all of the rest of the campus moving on into their dorms. At that point, if you have roommates, your roommates will arrive, and there will start a welcome days for all of the campus, for all of the new first year students, international and domestic. And there are a lot of very cool activities that happen during that weekend as well. And I just want to mention too, before I forget, if you can see on that arrival date, we do provide airport pickup for you. So if you arrive on 31st, you can let us know what time and what airline you'll be traveling from, and we will make sure that there's someone there to pick you up and bring you to school and help you get checked in. And then even beyond welcome days, beyond orientation week, we will continue to meet with you during your first 6 weeks. And I myself, as the Pathway Student Success Manager, will meet with you throughout the whole year, just to talk to you about academic success, adjusting to the U.S. classroom, getting involved on campus, all of those things that you may wonder how to handle in your transition. That's why we're here. We're here to support you, and we have a lot of programming for you that whole time, to make sure that you have a really smooth and easy transition to life at St. Thomas and life in the U.S.
So the fun stuff. So I think it's important to break down kind of what it looks like to come to St. Thomas financially. So this is the breakdown for tuition fees, room and board. You have an unlimited meal plan, and then room would be your housing on campus. And then indirect costs are your health insurance. We have really good health insurance at St. Thomas. Books and other personal expenses if you choose to hang out with friends or do something fun. And why these numbers are important to give you a total is because you need to show financial documentation, and we have to provide numbers for you for that information for immigration purposes. However, we do also provide scholarships. So you can get 10 to 50% off scholarships for Pathway. And what happens is you will receive that scholarship notification as a part of your admission letter. And so it'll tell you everything you need to know. You do not have to apply for scholarships separately. You just automatically are considered because they are merit scholarships. So it's a part of our process to evaluate your transcripts and evaluate any other materials you provide for us to make an admission decision. That qualifies you for different levels of scholarships as well. And so anywhere like the maximum scholarship, it would significantly reduce the cost of St. Thomas. And this is off of your tuition. So the merit-based scholarships come off your tuition, but then we can't take them out of your housing or food. That's just not how it works. So they'll come out of tuition, and then the total cost of food, health insurance, tuition, fees, everything is the cost that we'll give you after the scholarship's pulled from your tuition. Okay, so we gave you a lot of great information. I see we have a question.
Oh, I'm just opening the chat box so
Katie's
that people know they
opening the
can write
questions
questions there.
Mm-hmm. And so if you have any questions, please, your first point of contact as a Pathways student is ELS. You've already been in contact with them. They're the ones who reached out to you originally when you submitted your application. I referred some of you to them based on your application that I saw. And so they're the ones that are going to handle kind of the process with you in the beginning. But I and my colleague will make the admission decision. And then Katie will come in and say hello to you once you decide you want to come to St. Thomas. And so everybody's kind of at different stages right now, but please know that we're all one big team, St. Thomas and ELS, and we just want to support you guys as you make your decision. And through that process, if you want to see more, if you're on Instagram or Facebook, there's a lot of different photos on there. So it's nice to see where you're going to live maybe, or maybe what it looks like to be on campus. And then you can also see bigger pictures of like St. Thomas if you follow them on Instagram. And then these three are ours for international students. And then if you ever had a question about this presentation or need something, you're also welcome to reach out to Katie or myself, and we're all here to support you. So we will take any questions that you have now. If you don't have a question yet, it's okay. You can always ask us later as well. You can chat box or you can unmute yourself. Okay, well, we will be here. I'm just going to stop the recording and then we will be here for you. If you need anything from us at all, you are welcome to follow up. And we are happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you so much for attending today. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and have a great rest of your day, night, whatever time you're in right now. All right, bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you all.